Hi, so I'm Owen Llewelyn, and I play the RIP man.
Oh, how's it going, Alan? Owen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
So this is your very first podcast.
It is, yeah, first time I've been in one.
Really? What's going through your head right now?
Just hoping I can do the film some justice talking about it. Obviously, I was expecting Risu, the writer and producer who can't make it in. I thought he'd be, doing most of the talking, but here I am.
Yeah, let's talk about Rice Thompson. He's like the writer of the film. So, how'd you become part of this film, and were you the ideal for the R.I.P. man?
So I only met Reese through Jamie, who I've known for a while. Jamie Langlands is the director, and I met him through a friend originally, but then we've acted together since. And this is his second film. He's just finished, and he's just finished a film called The Cellar, which is out in cinemas at the moment. I saw it; it's great. He was obviously partnered with Reese to make this film, and Jamie obviously thought I would be ideal for the role. He just contacted me asking if I'd be interested in being part of the proof of concept short film that we've made. He knew so I worked in a horror attraction for 5.5 years, scaring people in the darkness. So I guess maybe that plus my look, thought I'd be the right man for the role.
Oh, you did a pretty good job. You were pretty creepy looking. So tell us a little bit about the R.I.P. man, that the main villain you play.
Yeah, so he suffers from this unique condition. I can't actually recall the name of the condition. This is where Reese would be great for help for it. But it's where someone has all their teeth fall out, and his mouth is just full of sores, and he's tracking down a certain group of teenagers who he picks on, and one of his main traits for killing people is he wants to take their teeth, which he stores in this mouth guard, which obviously has the RIP logo on it. And all his kills, they revolve around dismembering the mouth and taking a tooth as a trophy. He obviously has his motives, which I don't think I can give away too many of them at the moment. But because it's all sort of part of a mystery that's revealed as the film goes on. But he's a tortured man who's out for some form of revenge, I guess.
So tell me about the makeup. You wore a lot of makeup. How long did it apply all that makeup on you?
It took about... I'd like to say about an hour. It took altogether. A lot of it was like the blacking out of the teeth, and obviously whitening out my face. I'd say I was in that chair for about an hour, and obviously having to wear that mouth guard was it dragged on throughout the filming as well, because those things can get uncomfortable after a few hours.
Yeah, and the scene when you took the mouth guard off. I loved the effects, how it looked like where you didn't have any teeth. I like who did that. It made it so lifelike that you really didn't have any teeth. You know, like you're saying, you're trying to go after your teenage victims for their teeth. I just love how you would take the mouth guard out and open your mouth, and it was just like gory and gooey and icky. You're looking inside the R.I.P. man's mouth.
It looked great, and on the screen, when I read Reese's original screenplay, he was describing how he's meant to have sores in his mouth and where you can see in his gums, which hopefully, providing we get the budget for it, they'll be able to add that to it too, because it looked great. It was something, obviously, not seeing it firsthand, you don't realise how it's going to look until you actually see the footage, and yeah, I was really happy with it.
Oh, I enjoyed it. That was some great, and I love it because everything was all practical effects, which made the short film just as good. I mean, for what you guys had, the budget. One of my favorite scenes was the scene where you were standing with the camera shooting right behind you where you were staring in the night, and I love the coloring and the light that was mixed into the darkness while you were staring at Abigail Freight's house. That just gave a chilling feeling, like, she's, getting ready to go to bed and she doesn't know there's someone out there staring and stalking her.
Yeah, I love the way, like, again, when we mentioned about the sound, I love the way, like, each time my character appeared, it gave it a real chill to his appearance each time. Yeah, at first I thought you were mentioning the bit behind the wardrobe, because I love the way that looked as well with the hands. It was,
yeah, the wardrobe part was cool because I loved it because through the the wardrobe, it gets like all foggy and you just see these like mysterious hands. It kind of reminded me of a little bit of a Hitchcock scene, kind of remind me of like the shower from Psycho, how she's in the shower and then you see, Norman Bates in the shadow, like, with his hands and everything, getting ready to do it. That scene kind of remind me of the Psycho shower scene, but instead in a wardrobe. And that was just a brilliant shot between you and August.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the way that looked. I hadn't heard the Psycho being related to Psycho before, because when I originally was given the role, Reese contacted me asking me to base the character off of Nosferatu mixed with the Ripper from Last Action Hero, which was my two main influences to try and piece the character together. So it was nice hearing, it's cool that Psycho's also been brought into it too.
Yeah, and I love the music score in it with you in it. I love the eeriness and the atmosphere with the attitude in it every time your character was getting ready to, go after Abigail. I just love how the music played in. It felt like it was like a character. And that eeriness and atmospheric made it like watching a horror thriller, because you really get into it with the R.I.P. man, with the music, blended in. It felt like they were like two characters getting ready to stalk this innocent teenager.
Yeah, I'll say the music did so much for it. Obviously, because of being a low budget, I don't actually know the budget they had to just film that short, but it can't have been much. So, and yeah, I mean, I've been in my share of low budget films over the years, so I wasn't exactly sure what to expect on the end of it. But the team are so good; they've made something really nice of it.
And then the scene with August Porter's character Abigail, I love where she was putting on the white nightgown. I think Reese was doing a homage to like early 70s gothic horror, because if you watch like the Hammer horror films and early gothic horror, you always see the victims, like the female victims, wearing like white nightgowns, so it kind of gave me that homage to Hammer films.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that one, but yeah, no, that it probably is a reference. Reese is like a real horror buff. I consider myself one, but him and his associate Craig Monroe, like they both they know so much about horror. Like, so I'm sure there's going to be so many references and homages to things just built in.
Yeah, now let's talk about your chemistry with August, who plays the victim you stalk. Before you guys did the film, did you know each other? Because you guys like played it off pretty well, especially the intense scenes, which you guys had to go through, through like the fighting scenes and then the intense emotional scenes.
Yeah, no, I'd never met August before until the day of filming, but obviously had a little chat, got on, and we obviously, like, you just sort of get into the role, and the intense scenes seem to just flow well. Like, August is a great professional and worked well, yeah.
It did good. August, really nailed her role too. She really did a good job how you guys played off each other. It just made it so good, and it like I said, it kept me, entertained. I was really getting into it because I loved like the stocking scenes, like where you're in the wardrobe or she's sitting there combing her hair and you're outside the window, all fogged up, like staring in, and she doesn't even know what's really going on. I love the adrenaline intense of that. You're like, come on, just turn your head so you know what's going on.
And when it gets to the action, I didn't realize how like visceral the scenes would be on film. Like how because obviously when you're doing it, you're not, even though because it's controlled stage combat, you never know how good it's going to look until you see it. And the bit where he grabs her by the throat and then grabs her with the other hand and stuff, it looks quite what's the word, gritty, I think. Like
yeah, like I said, you guys had some intense moments between each other in the film. So, did you guys like practice over the certain, choreography on that certain scene? And did she feel comfortable when you were doing that certain scene on her?
Yeah, I mean, we went through it. We obviously, like with most fight scenes, you'd go through them slowly first, just to make sure everything's safe. We did a few times, obviously, where grabbing someone by the throat, you've always got to make sure you're being careful. But obviously, we do it in a way where the person being choked is the one in full control of the scene. So it was all pretty safe. And there was, I mean, the worst part for me was getting sprayed in the face, obviously trying to make that look right without actually getting physically sprayed. It all went, everything went pretty smoothly to my recollection. I don't think there are any real issues with the fight scene at all.
Yeah, and I love it because it was a great solid kill. It was like a clean solid kill. It wasn't like gory or like super bloody. I just liked it. It was just a clean solid kill, and you just look at it and I love how he did that because you can think of that in your mind. It's like you're really feeling it with her getting that clean cut. It's just, I just love how he did that where he didn't make it super bloody.
No, and it's got it's got a bit of a cold nastiness to it, I think. Like there's a bit of because it is so, it's the main part of the kill is quite sudden and as you say, clean and solid, and it happens relatively quickly. But then obviously when she's still gasping for life, he does the horrible thing with the teeth.
The horrible thing with the teeth was just like creepy as heck, man, because I didn't know there was a condition like that people really have that. I never knew that. That's just kind of creepy thinking about it. You could be walking, in the public, you wouldn't even know if somebody had that condition.
No. I mean, it's not something I'd actually heard of until I read through the script, and it goes into quite a bit of detail about it in the script because obviously it's a pivotal part of the story and part of the character's motivation as well, and how he got to where he is. But I had no idea, but Reese has done his research and
he did a good job. So has Reese ever thought about maybe making this into a future film? Because how he ended it, there could be a sequel how it ended, where it was left off. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see what the R.I.P. man was going to do next. Was he going to go after another teenager where was Abigail like in a group that he was like hunting down? I want to know, what happened after the end.
Well, no, this is it's a planned feature film. We're currently doing an Indiegogo campaign for it at the moment. They've already reached the base funding that they want to get for it, so it's definitely going to happen. It's a whole feature length film. Reese has even been talking about making a sequel if this goes well. So
I have to give Reese a big thank you. He gave me the teaser, so I got to watch a little teaser because at first I thought it was like a short film, but now you're saying it's going to be a feature. So I'm sold. I like to see a full feature, but I love how he gave me that tease because it made me want more of this film. It's like I want to see what else.
What it wants to do.
Yeah, Reese.
Yeah, I mean, this from the script. This is. I hope I'm allowed to say this is the first scene. Like it's the opening scene, and the whole rest of the story is based upon Abigail's death.
Yeah, I love it. I love how he teased the first scene. It really got me hooked. Like I said, the music, the makeup, everything, the solid kills, the stalking, and the psycho feel towards it, like we talked about in the wardrobe. So far, I'm hooked. I want to see the rest of the film and see where it plays out. Reese, I know you're going to be listening to this. You got me hooked. I want to see what happens. And like I said, thank you for the teaser. That teaser really kept me on the edge of my seat because I was really getting into it because it was so good.
So it's the 8-minute one you saw?
Yep.
Yeah. No, yes, I'll say. So that's... It might be reshot. I'm not sure when we do the feature. I don't know if they're going to redo it or if they're going to keep that original footage. But that's. I don't know if it's the what's the right term? The opening before the pre-credit sequence, or if it's the first scene, or but it's the catalyst for the rest of the story.
Is this on Indiegogo? I'm going to definitely have to pop on because I want a Blu-ray copy. Damn it.
Yeah, there's it's on Indiegogo. I can't remember the name of the link if it's a simple one or not, but I'm sure it's easy to find. And there's plenty of perks. I don't think Blu-ray is actually a perk on there at the moment, but I'm sure they'll hopefully get that one sorted.
Yeah, it better be, and it better be region free because I know you guys are across the pond, and I wanted to play on my player. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hopefully will be so. But there's we've already reached our base budget for it. They're
awesome.
So they're hoping for 15K if they can get to get everything they want out of the film, like to get all the effects they're hoping for. But with the 5K we've made, I think that's what their minimum was to make the film go ahead. From what Reese has told me, the next filming is going to be in a couple of weeks. So it'll be underway, and apparently it's going to be over a time of about 3 months, and then it'll be in post-production. So hopefully sometime in mid-2025, the whole film will be ready. Oh,
good. I can't wait to see it, and I also hope you show it at some film festivals across the pond, too.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I hope it gets seen by a lot of people, and obviously that part's out of my control, but I'm sure Reese has got it all planned out already. So
now, since we talked about the first 8 minutes of the film and all that, so you're a big, huge horror fan as well. So what was that one film that really drew you into the world of horror?
It was Candyman. Actually,
really?
I saw that one when I was 12 years old, and I remember being absolutely drawn in. The part where Vanessa, I believe the character's name, is like exploring the flat, and then she climbs through into the other side and through the hole and sees all the graffiti. And I remember just being absolutely chilled but drawn into a film. Because I think that was an emotion that I hadn't really got from a film before, where I was absolutely just frozen up with... Yeah, my 12-year-old self was frozen up with fear of what would happen. And a lot of the time in that film, not a lot did happen. It was so well-paced, but the tension was something else. And my mother was always a big horror fan, so she had, like, VHSs of everything, like, on the shelves. And suddenly I had this whole library of other films open to me, so I was suddenly delving into all the Nightmare on Elm Streets and Halloweens and Friday the 13th, and yeah, everything else I could get my hands on, really.
Hey, your mom raised you right for being a horror fan. I mean, I bet you probably watched a lot of it, and I bet you were one of those ones when you were young going, okay, I've seen these films. I want to see some crazier stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy things to this point now, but yeah, you just get hungry for it to the point where, like, obviously after I've been through the VHS shelves, you're going into the video rental shops and reading the backs, and often that was when you started getting to the point where you'd see a lot of bad ones, but then you get that occasional gold one that you find, and yeah.
Hey, there's some bad horror out there that's not bad. It's just fun to watch. I like the ones with the bad acting, and you just sit and watch it because you know it's bad, but you still watch it anyway.
Oh, some of my favourite horror films are bad ones. I love that. The only ones when I say bad, I mean, you know, obviously there's some bad ones that are boring, but there's a lot of fun bad ones out there too. So
there's one I watched. It's on Tubi, and it was like ridiculous. It was like goofy but funny. It's called Clay Zombies. So it's about these
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's about these claymation zombies attacking these humans in this small town, and the acting is just, it's crazy. The actors are doing their roles, or acting too hard to, you know, make their character. It's just fun to watch. It's just like real. It's just cheesy, man. And you're like sitting there going, "What did I just watch?" But it's neat just seeing them attacking clay zombies with clay zombie blood, you know, dripping out of them when they're shooting at them.
I will absolutely remember that title because that's one that that sounds definitely up my street.
And then you'll hit me back up. You'll be like, you know something, Robin? You're right. That Clay Zombies was a trip. And also, I know the writer and film director on it. And you can also go on YouTube, and he did a Clay Zombies Christmas special, which you can watch on YouTube.
I love that. I'm totally on board with Clay Zombies. It sounds definitely my type of film.
Oh, heck yeah. So so is this your first horror film you starred in, and do you see you doing more horror films in the near future?
I mean, I'd love to. Yeah, it's the first one I've starred in. I did a horror short last year by a TikTok film reviewer called Ricky Ashcroft. It was his first foray into film. He's hoping to become a filmmaker. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, I did a short with him last year. It was called "It Will Bring Us Together." It's on YouTube. That was. But generally, I haven't done a lot of horror in the past. A few small parts, and obviously, I worked in a tourist attraction as a zombie for quite a few years. But yeah, I'd love to do more horror. Absolutely, it's been a dream to be able to play a killer in a horror film for sure.
So you worked in haunted attractions and stuff. So what? Yeah. So I know you have all types of stories. You could probably write a novel. What is one story when you were working at this haunted attraction that was memorable for you and you can still remember it today?
Oh, wow. One that was really bizarre, I remember in 2011, I think like Human Centipede 2 was just coming out.
Yeah.
And they decided to do a Human Centipede promotion. And they put me as the so they built a new room in in the attraction that was made to be like the Human Centipede room, which it was just a doctor's ward with a diagram of the centipede. And in the evening they had 3 actors and the doctor playing the Human Centipede. But during the day they put me as the doctor, and they just had and they just put me in a room with a girl tied to a bed, and I had to just explain the centipede as the customers walked by. It was really bizarre, with a rifle just pointing at them. But then one point in that Halloween evening, the doctor who played is called Dieter Laser, I believe, the actor who played the actual original Doctor in the Human Centipede, just walked into the room in a lab coat, and Yeah, and then he walked over to the girl who was tied to the bed, and then just started explaining to her like how he was going to make her a middle piece, and she said it was the most terrifying thing of her life. And I was just that's one that just came to my mind originally. Like just dressed up as him, and then suddenly him walking into the room was quite unique experience.
Shoot, I would hate to be one of the people hooked to the centipede, especially towards the back. I wouldn't want my face on nobody's rear end.
No, I pity my co-workers at the time that had to do that. Fortunately, yeah, they saw me as the doctor, so I got out of that one. But,
you got very lucky on that one. So,
no, absolutely.
So over in England, how big is horror? Is it just as big as it is here in the States?
I mean, I don't think it's huge in the sense of fans, but yeah. I think that still, obviously, there's plenty of great British horror films being made, but I'd say still over here we still look to American films as the standard. Like, if you were to ask most British people who are big horror fans what their favourite films are, it's going to be American films.
Oh, hey, good choice. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Hammer films, too. I thought a lot of great early 70s, Hammer films were phenomenal, too. But, yeah, I can see most of the British like in a lot of the American horror films. I mean, but British has some great horror, too, a little bit. Like I said, the Hammer horror. And I've seen some, like, really messed up, crazy British horror, too. I'm sitting there watching it, and it's like, what the heck did I just watch?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen lots of good ones, and I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm failing right now. I'd love to just reel off a load of great British horror films, but they're not coming to my mind at the moment.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a lot. And the cool thing is, I also know there's a lot of indie horror filmmakers. I see more and more of them over in England making more indie horror, which is good for you. I mean, it seems like indie horror is getting like real popular over in England. I've talking to a lot of filmmakers who live over in England, talking about how indie horror is like slowly, getting really popular over in England.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like, I mean, obviously the more horror films that come out over here, the better, and there's obviously more indie horrors, the more chance I've got being part of something as well, which
oh yeah, but you guys get some of the cool horror and regular films over on physical media than we do. You guys get this and this, and we're over here going, man, how come they get this and we don't get that?
Oh really? Well, I know we've got like when I go into like there's this DVD shop called Pop, and it always has like loads of obscure horror films on Blu-ray. I think a lot. Do you get Arrow?
Yeah, we get Arrow, and I watched a little bit of Umbrella, which is an Australian England. Yeah, we get Arrow. I love Arrow. Arrow has a U.S. store too, which is pretty cool. So, which is really neat. So, I love getting films from Arrow. I love getting films from Umbrella, Shout Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, all that great stuff. I mean, because it's sad because physical media is slowly dying because everybody wants to stream and they don't want to collect films anymore.
I know, it is a shame. I still have mine going strong, but I must admit I add to it less and less as the years go by. But it's a shame because there's something of real pride to a DVD collection or Blu-ray collection nowadays. But where like someone could just like walk into your home and it's like such a great visual representation of the films you love, like and they're all just there, and yeah, I think it's a shame that they'll like it's not seen as a practical thing to have anymore, and it's more just out of love that you keep physical media now. Exactly,
because you have the original version, you get the special features, and you get the uncut versions, because some films, when you watch it on streaming, they edit and cut a lot of scenes out of certain films. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's it, and you're powerless if you don't own that physical media of an original release, and they take it away, then yeah, you're relying on streaming. They can alter it as anytime. The streaming platform and take away and add anything anytime, really. So yeah,
exactly. So where can everybody find you on social media and the Indiegogo page to see what you guys are going to do next, and so we can see the R.I.P. man?
I mean, I'm not like the most up on social media person personally.
Uh-huh.
I do have a X now. I just getting used to saying it. I have that Owen Llewelyn. But for the R.I.P. man, I think it might just be Indiegogo / R.I.P. man.
Okay.
I wish I had the link at hand actually.
Shame on you. And you're you're the villain in the movie. You're the killer. You should be like, hey man, I'm playing the R.I.P. man. I should be knowing up on all this stuff. I'm in this cool film, so I should have the link and everything. Be like, come on, man, give me some money so we can make this feature film.
I know. I'm very unprepared. As I say, I thought I was just an addition to this interview rather than the sole person here. So yeah, I didn't come prepared with some of the promotional material. But yeah, I'm sure if you search Indiegogo R.I.P. man, the campaign will come up. Or if you look up Reese Thompson, I believe he's using most social media. Mm-hmm. He's promoting it all day, every day. So I get tagged in about 6 or 7 things each day on for R.I.P. man. So I'm sure it's easy to find if you look.
Yeah, he threw you in the lion's den tonight, man. Your first podcast. We had to talk about the R.I.P. man. He threw you in the lion's den, but it's a good thing because it's a good experience for you.
Absolutely. I'll be more prepared next time.
I know you'll be like, the next one's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm not, now I know what I'm, least suspected. So I'm prepared, man. So the next one I'll kick some ass. But anyways, thank you so much for coming on and talking about the R.I.P. man with me.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
All right. And everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight. Have a great